and we are proud to see.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Let's call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Certainly. Good afternoon. Mr. Brennan.
Present.
Mr. Rickman.
Here.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mr. Duval.
Present.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
Mayor Benjamin.
Present. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Reverend McDowell, would you give us a word, please, brother?
Yes.
Chris, Andy, and
Gracious God, for your loving kindness and for the many blessings you've already afforded us. We come today to say thank you for the grace shown each of us. We come today to say thank you for this city of ours and the leadership therein, who understands and trying to engird itself with a sense of promise and a sense of hope. We pray again for those persons who are COVID survivors and, of course, those persons who have perished. This week, very special in the life of this nation of ours, as we celebrate Veterans Day. For those who are in service and for those who are not, we ask for your continued grace upon them for the service they've given to this nation of ours. Lord, we ask it.
Amen. Amen. Let's encourage everyone to continue to keep the country in prayer. We got a lot going on, and it always makes me feel good to start these meetings off the way we can. Teresa and Erica, let's also encourage everyone who's not talking to mute their phones too. Mute your phones, please. Are there any changes to the agenda?
The only changes include removing items 24 and 25 on your executive session agenda, Mayor. We don't need to take those two items up today. And then I misspoke earlier when I was chatting with you all. I've got next week's meeting on the brain. Your consent agenda next week will include items for the disaster recovery.
Okay.
Not today.
All right. Good deal. All right. Motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Move.
Second, any discussion? We'll move.
Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye. Yes.
Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Vine. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the July 21st, 2020, August 18, 2020, August 27 council meetings?
Second.
Is there a second? I have this vision of Erica and Lady kind of like sitting around a table and just like working out this stuff. I just really want to see how this stuff gets done one day. All these minutes. Move. Yes.
Mr. Brennan.
Aye.
Mr. Rickman. Mr.
Yes.
McDowell. Mr.
Aye.
Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Vine. Mr.
Aye.
Davis. Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. Thank you so much for your comprehensive work there. We have sorry, guys.
Mayor Benjamin, we will move into a city council discussion period, which today we have our normal COVID-19 situational report from our emergency management director, Mr. Harry Tinsley.
Please.
Hi, good
Yes.
afternoon. Can you hear me?
Hearing.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thank y'all. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Additional in your inbox, some of the information that I'll be talking about here on the situation report for today. So worldwide, we are north of 50 million cases global of COVID-19. That's up 10 million from our last meeting. There are over 1.2 million deaths due to the virus. Here in the U.S., we're north of 10 million confirmed, with over 238,000 confirmed deaths, unfortunately, due to COVID. Here in our state, we've had additional over 400,000 additional tests since our last meeting, which brings the state total to over 2.1 million tests to date. There's 170, north of 177 confirmed cases statewide. New cases reporting as of yesterday, will report out today of 1,326 additional cases. That's a positivity test rate of 13.6%. And there are unfortunately 18 new deaths reported as of yesterday, and those are reporting between October 31st and November the 8th. That brings the state total to 3,795 confirmed deaths. As far as Richland County, we've tested over 200,000 to date, and our test count or case count is 17,042 cases. That's 042, and there were 95 cases reporting additional yesterday. Our rolling average over the last 14 days for Richland County is around 74.5 cases per day. So there are 262 confirmed deaths as of today's reporting. The case counts for the zip codes with the high 29223 and 29229, and those 14-day report outs, those zip codes were over 100 on the 14-day report. Also, as of November 5th, Richland County's 14-day recent disease activity incidence rate has been upgraded back to high, with 231.4 cases per 100,000 population. Our positivity rate is 11.5%. We were previously at our last meeting at a moderate rate, or a medium, if you will, which was 189.5. I will continue to watch that. And by comparison, our surrounding counties, Newberry, Lexington, Fairfield, Kershaw, and Sumter remain at high as well. Calhoun is at a medium or moderate rate. So overall, the state recovery rate is estimated at 91.8% as of November 8th reporting sample. The state case fatality rate is estimated at 2.17. So South Carolina is seeing a continual upslope in cases, and we're now averaging 800 to 900 new cases that report out. That's up from 600 to 800. So we're starting to see an upward slope. It's not as an acute spike as it was back in July. I think a lot of the mitigations that the state and we're doing, and of course every county is helping to mitigate that. So we're seeing a slower slope as opposed to an acute. So the statewide bed utilization rate remains at about 75%. The rate is around 74% as of today's reporting, and 197 of those are in ICU. Our state, all our local partners and state health officials continue to monitor all case counts, positivity rates, and hospitalizations. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Your constant information you share with us, and we're experiencing a significant spike. Not here in the state, but obviously not only here in the state, but the new cases worldwide is just it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. Just want to again appreciate our collective leadership and the work being done by our staff around the enhanced mask ordinance. We got a long way to go. Thank God for the some of the scientific developments we're seeing around the vaccine and some of the antibody testing as well, and hopefully, we're able to see the other.
I just had a question
Mr.
for
Duval.
Harry, Mr. Mayor. Harry,
Please.
when you sent out that list, can you send we can compare Richland County with the other counties? I found that very interesting.
Yes, sir. You speaking of the incident rate, right?
Yes, the number of cases reported in each county.
Tamika, you're on mute still.
Just two quick questions, Harry. Number one, and I tell everybody to look at the incidence rates versus the numbers, because the numbers are deceptive, but a lot of people keep looking at the numbers, and it seems like the testing fluctuates up and down. So my first question is, do we have any indication as to test versus the other days? Is it people aren't going to get tested, or is it a backup at the lab? That's my first question. And then my second question would be the report that we did last week on kind of monitoring the sewage was very promising, I think, for us to stay ahead of spikes in particular areas that we need to have attention to. And I'm just wondering, are we at any point where that has been instructive for us? And are we seeing anything now that is ahead of what the numbers are reporting right this second?
Thank you. As far as the testing, I think most of that is what we're discussing with most of the state partners and locals, is that there's a testing COVID fatigue. We were averaging in our state 6,000, around 6,700 tests per day. The numbers reporting out yesterday, as of today's reporting, are 9,770. I think that's the number, 9,770. So we're seeing those lulls and then those up and downs. I'm not aware of any lab issues. I think it just gets down to, there's been a lot going on, and some of the COVID fatigue, but folks are starting to get testing, and the sites are, they're all over the state. They're here in the city. We're still pushing out our testing, but I would just say it's more of a COVID fatigue is what we're seeing. As far as the sewer test, I would have to defer that to ACM Shealy to give us any specifics on that. I know we've had a discussion with USC and some of the specific stuff at the U of SC that they have been doing.
Hey, Harry, this is Clint. Thank you. I haven't seen last week's result yet, Councilwoman Devine, but we had not seen an uptick in the recent weeks at our Metro treatment plant, and just in some anecdotal discussions with USC and some of the collection system monitoring they've been doing around campus, they have not seen an uptick in the concentrations within the wastewater collection system. I'll send the group the last week's results as soon as we receive those from USC, but we have not seen an upward trend in our area, in our service area, in terms of the wastewater concentration.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mayor Benjamin, Harry, I think he's okay with me sharing this because he never misses a beat for us, but I would ask all of us to continue to uplift him in prayer. He lost his mother figure last week, his aunt who raised him, and has never missed a beat with this reporting, and don't know that he even shared that with many of us, other than maybe me. So keep Harry uplifted. He's a trooper, and we certainly love and support him.
God bless you, brother. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah, in our prayers.
Thank you, Director Tinsley. Mayor Benjamin, we can move into our consent agenda items 3 through, let's see here, 12.
12. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? The previous question, clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Ms. Devine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
All right. Thank you.
Our zoning and planning matters for first reading. Item 13 is a zoning map amendment for 901, 903, 911, and 919 South Edisto Avenue. This public hearing was already held in September, Mayor Benjamin. So at this point, it is up for council's consideration.
Sure. Sure. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
What is the motion? Is it the motion to deny or approve?
To approve. I think the motion is to approve.
I'll second for discussion.
All right. Discussion period. All right. Who has something to say on this one? Mr. Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate how long this conversation with the community, the potential developer has been going on, and really put eyes on the South Edisto Commerce Drive area to really show the potential that we are missing out down there. I want to say the planning department put in a lot of time with coming up with a vision for Columbia Compass. And Columbia Compass, I think, is a wonderful document that has a wonderful path forward for bringing the best to all of our neighborhoods, especially South Edisto, Rosewood, and South Kilburn. The zoning change that is being discussed from M1 light industrial to general residential district is something that I have been against from day one, and have been talking and listening and hearing support that agrees with me. The future potential for this corridor with the Columbia Compass Employment Campus designation is exactly what we need to follow through on with the many, many master plans that have been done, not only in the city, but specifically South Edisto and Rosewood. This area is ripe for infrastructure investment, which it needs to happen. Flex space, office space, institutional, light industrial. This is a wonderful destination. We don't have a lot of light industrial in the city. Light industrial, flex, office, institutional. These zones build jobs, these small businesses that we need to attract to this employment campus can be wonderful, innovative small businesses. Economic development, the economic development team and I had a chance to visit one of those, Belmont Safety Products on Commerce Drive, a wonderful construction technology company that has 3 employees right now, but has a list of potential, and they are enjoying Commerce Drive as their new home. And that is exactly the type of businesses and investment that we need to attract to this area. So I just wanted to reiterate my support for the South Edisto area as current and future zoning, and to really commit to the neighborhoods that we will bring it back to the spotlight, because it has wonderful potential down there. So thank you for your time, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Duval and Mr. Rickman. And then Ms. Devine.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I wanted to commend Jeff Kuhn, who is the developer for this property, for this hard work in trying to get this property approved. And I think he has been bending over backwards to make sure that we had information. My vote has been swayed by the South Carolina Aeronautics Commission and the letter that they have given us. I think it is clear that they feel like we should not rezone this property for the future of the airport. And I am convinced that the Owens Field, Hamilton Field future is bright if we can find the resources to extend that runway slightly to make it so that the jets can take off on full fuel rather than partial fuel tanks. feel like we should support the denial that was recommended by our staff. This is an important transition we're going through in the next few months, and had it not been for COVID, this area would not have the zoning that it is now. It would be rezoned to something that would be exclusionary of the housing project that Mr. Kuhn wants to put there. Again, I do want to commend him for his hard work on this project, and I really hope that several of us and maybe the staff can come up with a suitable place in the city of Columbia for this project. But I don't believe that particular spot is the right place for the future of the airport.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rickman and then Ms. Devine.
I'd like to thank the developer. I think he's gone beyond to reach out and really put a lot of work into it. I hate to disagree with the colleagues on this, but this property has been in discussion for a long time, and these plans that we've discussed have been there for 20 years. And we, the city, have invested literally 50 feet across the street into housing, which is in the direct flight pattern, and allowed a developer to build there. So there's a little bit of uneasiness on my part that we allow one person to do it, and then we don't look at this, which is not directly in the flight pattern, which we approved. I think that some of the information that has been sent out is not 100% correct, but I respect everybody's opinion. I do think that this is a lot larger than one piece of property, and it's kind of disappointing that we're only looking at it from one angle. It could be a very interesting model that would have opened up some opportunities down there to change the face of that quarter and still be able to play with the Spine Road project, which I worked on 2004, 2005. So, I have to say I'm disappointed we couldn't figure a happy medium, but I do want to voice, I still support the project. I think it's a right transitional project if you count everything that's around there. It's just really hard for me to deny this application when we allowed something literally 50 feet across the road.
Thank you. Ms. Devine.
Thank you. And I want to definitely thank Mr. Brennan for talking and trying to work with people on this. And I want to echo Mr. Duvall's sentiments about Mr. Kuhn and his willingness. I've talked to Jeff probably 4 or 5 times on this, and I think that he has really done a good job at trying to understand what the concerns were, see if he can amend his plans to be more in alignment with what the concerns are. And I'll have to say that probably going into today, I was leaning towards supporting the project in the fact that I think that Jeff has done a really good job. And quite honestly, everyone knows my concern about the lack of workforce housing in our city. And I think every opportunity we have to do quality, affordable workforce housing, we need to try and capitalize on that. And I know in my conversations with Jeff, he's willing to do that. So I still would like to see if we can work with him and his team on seeing if there are other opportunities. I have spent the better part of today speaking with neighborhood people, council members, our staff, trying to understand the differences and some of these things that Mr. Wickerman is talking about. What's the difference between Homes of Hope and why that was allowed, and what's the difference here? What does Columbia Compass say, and what have we tried to do in this area? And so with all of that being on the table, I have to say I'm more swayed at our staff's denial of this. I think that we have an amazing, competent staff that really looks at all issues. And in my experience, they are always trying to figure out how do we make something work. And their denial of this, and I spoke to Ms. Hampton just right before this meeting, it is instructive to me just in the fact that I think that Columbia Compass, we unanimously just approved, and we've got a lot of plans to make that a reality and to do something that might fly in the face of that. I don't think is really a good idea at this point. But I would say I would really strongly encourage us to work with Mr. Kuhn and others. My biggest concern is that Columbia, we have so many plans. We want to do things. We want developers to come in and do workforce housing. We really need that for our constituency. And I think that when we have good developers like this that try their darndest to accommodate, work with us, and then they don't see their project move forward, it leads to a level of frustration. And I don't want us ever to be in the position where the city is looked at as not friendly, not working with developers, because we really need to partner with them. So I would like us to continue to see if we can work with Mr. Kuhn and see if there's other properties that this amazing project could probably go into. But for those reasons, and if we had more time, I'd say that too. I think that he's willing, but I know that there's some discussion about the fact that this has taken this long and we'd like to move forward. So today, if we have to vote today, I am not in favor of it. If there is a willingness to continue conversations, I am personally willing to start having these meetings with people, be more involved if we think we can get to that happy medium that Mr. Rickerman has talked about.
Thank you. Mr. Davis.
I'm not going to go over everything that's been said, but one thing that gave me some concerns was the location of the property in terms of the pathway of the airport. I don't think that we should, I think, allow any kind of development such as this in the direct path of airplanes. However, given the history of that area, the Spine Road as well, Daniel, I never got a clear answer on the health of the land. It was light industrial. Is that right?
That's correct.
Will, do you know?
That's correct.
Councilman Davis, are you speaking of the one that was passed last year?
Well, the one that we're looking at now. We were looking at. Anyway, that's another issue. But for any residential development, especially for workforce and affordable housing, we need to pay attention to the previous use of the property, land. I would like to see a project such as this because it has the two elements that we really need: affordable housing and workforce housing. Talk to them about other locations in other parts of the city. I think they could benefit just as well as this particular area. And I'd like to see us be more aggressive in that vein. They did their homework. The information was good and so forth, but I'm swayed by the position of this land, to potential in terms of, things that happen close to airports. We never know when it will happen, but it is always the possibility that it will. So bottom line is, I'd be willing to talk to them for other locations in the city. But with this location, I wouldn't be supportive.
Thank you. Mr. McDowell.
Mr. Mayor.
Please, Ed.
I think the issue for me, of course, is location. Location, location, location. I think all of us can unanimously agree that housing in our city is of tremendous need. I think it's location. I've had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Kuhn. I've read conceptually what he wants to do with that piece of property. And for me, it was just an issue of location. And having said that, Mr. Mayor, I would move the previous question.
Let me, before you do that,
Please.
Let's be clear that we're not saying we're not willing to work with these guys, but I'm more concerned about the availability of projects like this in other parts of the city that clearly needs it.
You want to pick the project up and move it out to 29203. Is that what you're saying, Sam?
But 203 or Edge District. Hell, we need that's the reality. My point is, but I'm looking at, let me say this, and I think you're aware of this. I'm looking at the description, the project, and the amenities. We've got two properties right now in this area where the builders and the developers did not live up to their promise to the people.
Yes.
And this is something I would hang my hat on elsewhere.
It seems like the recurring theme I'm hearing from each and every one of you is that we appreciate the developers, we appreciate the quality of development. We want to see this and more of it. It's just a location that gives a grave concern. So duly noted. Mr. McDowell, you moved the previous question?
Yes, sir.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
No.
Mr. Rickerman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
No.
Mr. Duval,
No.
Mr. Vine,
No.
Mr. Davis,
No.
Mayor Benjamin.
No. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to item 14.
Yes, sir. Item 14 is an ordinance for second reading, ordinance number 2020-098, 14th supplement ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of City of Columbia, South Carolina waterworks and sewer system revenue bonds in one or more series in the aggregate principal amount of not exceeding $315 million in order to refinance certain outstanding indebtedness and to finance various capital projects and improvements to the system.
I move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Duval, for helping Ms. Wilson save her voice.
I'm sorry, I missed this. Can Mr. Palin tell us who are the firms working on this?
Yes, for bond counsel, it will be McNair. And also for the underwriters counsel, it will be Parker Poe. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I'm not voting on this one.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. I think this has been moved and seconded. We'll move the previous question, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickerman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine, Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye, thank you. All right.
Resolutions, item 15, resolution number R 2020-095, authorizing construction and improvements by the South Carolina Department of Transportation of Interstate 26 and associated ramps for the Carolina Crossroads Phase 1, Colonial Life Boulevard at I-127 interchange, the design build project.
Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? With the previous question, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickerman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye, thank you.
Item 16, resolution number R 2020-101, authorizing the city manager to execute an incentive agreement between Project Sunshine or Project Sunshine 2020 in Richland County, South Carolina, the South Carolina Department of Commerce, the South Carolina Coordinating Council for Economic Development, the City of Columbia, and South Carolina Department of Commerce, the Division of Public Railways, or Palmetto Railways.
I move
So
approval.
moved.
Is there a second? All right, I think I
Second.
heard a second somewhere. All right. Any discussion? We'll move to the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other matters, item 17, council is asked to approve the destruction of 1,362 narcotics and paraphernalia as requested by the
So
Columbia
moved.
Department.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Saying none, with the previous question, clerk call the roll. Ed seemed really eager for that one, but okay. With the previous
Mr.
question,
Brennan?
clerk call the roll. I'm
Mr.
sorry, Mr.
Brennan?
Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 18, council is asked to approve the installation of a four-way stop at Whaley Street and Sumter Street as requested by the Public Works Department.
Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Mr. Brennan, you want a second? Second.
Oh, sorry. Second. Sorry.
All right. Move the previous question, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. Thank you.
Item 19, council is asked to approve a four-way stop at the intersection of West Confederate Avenue and Clark Street as requested by the Public Works Department.
Is there a motion?
Move.
I just always want, I wanted to hear Sam Davis motion approval for anything Confederate. I was waiting for that. So is there a second?
Second.
With the previous question, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
We have a committee referral, and Mayor Benjamin, I'm not sure if you all have any other items that are not listed here, but the one referral as listed, council is asked to refer the naming of the park at Bull Street to the Administrative Policy Committee as requested by administration.
Is there a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Moved by Ms. Devine, second by Mr. McDowell. With the previous question, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. All right. Do we have any anyone signed up for public input? Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Duval, you want to give us a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to go into executive session for receipt of legal advice related to matters covered by attorney-client privilege pursuant to SC Code 30-4-70A2 COVID-19. Receipt of legal advice related to a pending, threatened, or potential claim pursuant to 30-4-70A, Jones versus Columbia, Campbell versus South Carolina Department of Transportation and the City of Columbia, and Strong versus City of Columbia. Discussions of negotiations as to proposed contractual arrangement pursuant to 30-4-70A2, Whitewater/Finley Park, Public Art, Columbia City of Women Art Sculpture, Segra naming rights, discussion of matters related to proposed location or expansion of services to encourage.
I think we took 24 and 25 off.
24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took, so that, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Rickerman?
We took 24 off.
Yeah, 24 and 25.
25.
And we amended the agenda.
I didn't see
All
that.
right, we'll move the previous question. I'm sorry, there was a second, right? Move the previous question, clerk call a roll.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Mr. Rickerman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye. Howard,
Mayor Benjamin.
turn your volume up a little bit.
Aye.
My volume?
Thank you.
Yeah.